For many of us, spirituality is just the quest to find essence or true meaning and to really just connect with a higher consciousness.
Welcome to the Bring Me to Life podcast.
Connecting with your spirituality is very important in this life. By becoming mindful of all of that, you can realize where you are and if that is leading you to where you want to go.
Listen to the little simple things, because it's those little simple things that are going to shift you vibrationally in such a way that will prepare you to become very intuitively minded and ready to step forward on the next part of your path.
I hope you can feel the love that's inside you, it's inside me, that connects us.
All right. We are here with another episode of the Bring Me to Life podcast. And this is episode 122, I believe. We're getting in the 120, so this is exciting. We're talking about the power of no. I'm joined here with none other than Nick Mielnicki. Welcome.
Greetings. Hello, Selomon. Hello, everyone tuning in.
Hello. The power of no. This is a big topic, and one I think a lot of people have trouble with, and I know I do, because we just love to help people and we love to say yes as much as we can, but that's not good, is it?
Sometimes yes is the choice we want to make, and sometimes we say yes when we actually want to say no.
Okay, so it seems like we have some things to discuss on this episode, and I'm super excited. But how's your day going? How was your last week?
Wow, my last week, it's actually really interesting because in these very recent times, I've actually experienced quite a number of situations where I wasn't really sure if I should say yes or no. So we'll get into that later, but
cool.
I've definitely been having a wonderful week filled with a lot of different practices and disciplines, and I'll be getting into teaching yoga again starting today, actually later on. So that's kind of been on the forefront of my mind. So I've just been kind of chilling and getting more disciplined and just more focused on the inside.
Nice. That's awesome. Disciplines, it can be pretty important in this world. I do have a meditation that I'll play at the end, and I made that yesterday. I published it on my channel, so I'll be sharing it with everyone. It's just a short 5-minute meditation, but I actually got a lot of feedback this time. I feel like we've been gaining some momentum, and people are starting to reach out more and more. But I also think that's because I'm like reaching out more to other people, and it's just coming back to me.
Yeah, I mean, like with each time you and I get together on here, I feel that our ability to bounce back and forth, as well as our ability to bring forth the value on these topics, it seems to increase. So like, that's no surprise to me that you're saying that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna keep it rolling here. Keep it rolling. Yes, and please, if anybody is really listening right now, if you are able to leave a comment and let us know you're listening, because we really enjoy knowing who out there is hearing our voices.
Yeah, and last week our topic was using your voice to essentially speak what you need to, rather than holding it on the inside or even being overwhelmed and not really knowing what you would like to say if given the opportunity. So here's an opportunity, here's a permission slip to us co-hosts here and anyone tuning in to maybe take a risk, maybe say something or express in a certain way somehow that maybe you might fail and potentially even have a great success in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I've been reading this book that somebody got me, and it's all about just being better. And it talked about like every failure is a step to success, and the people who are successful are the ones who just get up while everybody else doesn't. So it's not that nobody, like the winners, it's not that they don't fail. They just fail probably more than anybody else to the point where they finally like break through and are successful. So don't be afraid to fail. See failure as like a stepping stone.
So true. It's just like, it's like, man, I know I'm going to do it. I can't even accept not doing it. And just like under concrete, how do the weeds come up and go through the concrete? They don't care about the concrete. They're just going. Like, I'm going to hit that sunlight. I don't care.
Right. They don't make excuses for the concrete being there.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, this topic, this week, learning to say no, I think is a great one, because I think most of my friends and people that I'm connected with and like leaders in the community, a lot of them just take on so much because they really want to help people, but because they say yes to everything, it's like their plate fills up, and then like they're not able to put that much energy towards any one thing because they have so many things that they got to do. So learning to say no, I think, is a great way to establish healthy boundaries for yourself. And I think it's healthy for you, and it's healthy for other people, even if it's like a little awkward at first.
Yeah. And I like that you said that it's healthy for other people in the sense of some of us may not know how or what it looks like to make that true choice or to find that honesty inside. And the ones that do, they can assist others by doing that for themselves, by kind of showing what it looks like. And maybe someone chats with them about it and they can get some more insight on how the person was able to find that place in themselves to choose in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think power of no should be balanced with the power of yes, because I think there are a lot of people who just say no all the time to everything, and I don't think that's too healthy either. I think it's important to be balanced and to kind of like let your feelings guide you. There's this movie called The Yes Man, and it had Jim Carrey in it. And he was one of those people who would always say no to everything, and he wasn't getting anywhere in life because he was just like saying no to everything. So he went to actually see Tony Robbins, I think, in the movie, and he was like, just say yes to everything. So in the movie, he just started saying yes to everything. And at first it was good. Like, he was getting a lot of new experiences and he was growing. But then like towards the end of the movie, it started creating a lot of problems because he was saying yes to everything, and like he was disrespecting his friends, his like partner, their time, their feelings, because he was just saying yes to everything. So I think it's really important to find a balance and to just let your feelings guide you, because they will tell you like if it's a good decision or not to say yes or to say no.
Uh-huh. And sometimes we'll make a choice and we won't ask ourselves why. Like the power of choice. Recognize the power of choice. Recognize the power of choice. And play with yourself in your own mind and see like why did I want to say no? Was I scared of an unknown outcome? Was I too busy? Was I nervous at my ability to produce something, etc.? And like, why did I say yes? Was it really exciting and I said yes? Was it obligatory? Was I bored and had nothing else to do? Like, there's so many reasons why either yes or no would be chosen, and we could just tune into our inner voice and see what's going on there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Definitely. The power of choice. That's an interesting thing because, I think we do have free will on this planet. And that's why a lot of people suffer because they decide, well, I don't want to be on the path that is meant for me. I want to go against it and I want to see what's going to happen. And so I think that's like, it's a big thing in this world to have free will and to go against the grain if you really want to. But, when you let your feelings guide you, when you begin to like, I think the asking yourself, like, why did you choose that is a good like way to begin to understand and connect with your feelings. So I think that's a really, really awesome idea. I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah, thank you. And also another thing that we might want to look at is I haven't seen that Jim Carrey movie in some years, so I don't know it offhand, but what a great metaphor of someone who comes from a life where they are generally predisposed to their current cycles, you could say, and they don't want to stray away from their current patterns. And while that could be good because they're disciplined, they may also be limited to the scope of that discipline, or potentially a character like that is saying no because they're just like generally scared and feeling low value and things like that. And then, so that's one side of the pendulum or the pole. And then someone offers him the idea to say yes, and he gives himself permission to leave that side of the pole to go to the other side of the pole. And it works out really well for quite a while, and it really transforms his life for quite a while because of the contrast, because he was on the other side of the pole for so long. But then we really got to be mindful here and tune in and take checks and balances of what's going on with our mental state, our emotions, our reasonings and intentions, and the goals ahead of us. And notice if now, are we on the other side in the same exact way that we initially started? Or is it more of like a balanced wholeness vibration going on there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he probably had to say yes so much because he was so far on the other side that he had to like create that equilibrium, but then it started tipping again. And I think at the end of the movie he found his balance, and it helped him a lot in life. And it's so important, and especially for people who are doing like coaching or any kind of sessions, because a lot of people will come in and like maybe they'll like ask you for help, and if you can't, like, if you're not really, if you don't offer what they need in order to be helped, but you say yes just because you need a client or just because you want one, then it creates not a good effect, because that person doesn't get the help that they should or that they need, and then also creates a blockage from you getting like a different client who resonates more with you. So by being able to say no to certain people, not only are you like making room for the people who will find the most healing from you, but you won't feel as drained either, because I think when you do those things just to have like a client instead of like knowing that you can actually help them, you're like kind of draining your energy away, because you're not going to get back the same kind of energy and happiness and joy that you would if you had a client that was like needing exactly what you had to offer.
Nice. Yeah, I think you said that perfectly. And like that, something like that would just create a whole slew of other problems, because now you're agreeing with yourself that you're willing to go forward without integrity, even a little bit. And of course, there could be reasonings and justifications to that where like it would actually turn out good for sure. But generally, that person is like trying to be someone that they're not, basically, and maybe they want to be that person, but they may not have given themselves permission to say no, or to trust in their own self that if they did pass up that potential opportunity, they may not get another one or something like that. It really comes down to the situation, but there's so many ways it could go.
Mm-hmm. I always like to, when people are like trying to make a decision on something, I always try to like remind them, like, think about, this comes back down to what you're saying about like asking yourself why. It's like thinking about, are you making a decision based on love, or are you making a decision based on fear? Like, are you accepting this client because you're afraid you're not going to get a new one? Or are you accepting this client because you know you can offer them something and you're both going to receive, a lot of joy and happiness because of it? And that's like a decision based on love.
Wow, yeah, dude. Like, that is so powerful to bring up such a foundation of, am I going here for love and growth, harmony, connection, etc.? Or am I going here from fear, scarcity, confusion, question, anxiety, and pressure?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think when you begin to tune in and begin to make decisions based on love, that you'll begin to draw in more clients who will give you that feeling through a session. So by like making the choice to go with love, it creates a really big ripple effect that's gonna affect a lot of areas of your life.
Yeah, and bringing in that abundance and going with love is quite a higher form, a higher place than kind of the world that we were raised in, or the world that we generally perceive in mainstream society and things of that nature. And when we come from that kind of place, we can step into love and essentially go beyond our current views or go beyond our current abilities by trusting in that, you could say, higher power or more efficient way of thinking even.
Mm-hmm.
And like finding that honesty inside of ourselves, that true choice may lead to a more gentle and relaxing presence where it then further cultivates our ability to effectively choose yes or no. But also a true choice may lead to like a loud and challenging circumstance as we find our life changing before our eyes. Probably like in that Jim Carrey movie, when he first starts to say yes, it may be like, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know the situations, but it could have been like a rapid, intense, fun, unbelievable, even challenging circumstances where he's like, I would have never said yes to this, but because I just got done saying yes to 20 things, I'm going to say yes to this just because.
Yeah, I'll give you an example of one scene that I do remember is like after he went to the conference and began saying yeah to everything, one of his friends like asked him to go out, and he never usually went out, but his friend started to notice he was saying yeah to everything, so he asked him to go to a bar with him, and he said okay. So he went, and he was like giving him drinks, and he was just taking them. He was like yeah okay. He was saying yes, and he got fucking wasted, and so he was just saying yes to everything. So he was wasted, and this girl looked at him and said, "Excuse me," and he thought, because he was so drunk, he thought she was trying to like offer him like a kiss or something. So he's like, "Yeah," and he just started making out with her, and she was like, "What the fuck?" And then she like called her boyfriend over, who was huge, and he like wanted to fight Jim Carrey, and of course his character was like yeah, of course. So he had a big fight and like in the bar and got messed up and just got punched in the face and like so that's like, there were some challenges there. Like he had to fight a big dude, and because he was saying yeah to everything. And so I mean, there are challenges. I made this decision a long time ago to quit my jobs that I had. I had 2 jobs that were good paying, and I had good friends and stuff. And but I wanted to go on an adventure. I wanted to go to the mountains. I wanted to like have an extreme awesome adventure in my life, and that was the decision I made because it was based on love. Like I love adventure and it was just calling me. So I quit my jobs and I did the adventure, and it like there were a bunch of challenges, like some near-death experiences, some like extreme hitchhiking and climbing mountains and stuff. But like it brought me here. It brought me to create Project Bring Me to Life, which in turn created the Bring Me to Life podcast, which everybody's listening to right now. And it brought me to Shannon and to create this life that I have now is all based on that one decision to follow my heart, to go on that adventure. So it was life-changing, and even if just you make a small decision based on love, it can be life-changing.
That's a fantastic story, and I'd like to follow up with that on how you and I met. I was saying yes to new things in my life and new ways of thinking that I once feared and judged, and I eventually met up with you online. I forget exactly how. I think it was through some kind of
like Zenora's Facebook or something.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, Taylor. Mm-hmm. And then we were chatting, and I don't know if I offered or you offered, but I eventually I said yes to something that I wasn't really sure exactly, but it felt aligned, at least for that period of time. And then I drove 3 hours to come visit you for the time period that I did. And in that decision, I entered a whole new life and a whole new way of thinking that was much less limited, much more heart-centered, and much more on a trajectory of growth and abundance, as opposed to things like judgment and being scared and feeling incapable and things like that. And I got to meet a great friend in person and grow a relationship with him, and I got to meet another great buddy, and we're all still friends today. And now look at us kicking it on here at Project Bring Me to Life.
Here we are. So when you were like making the decision, you said that you felt like it was aligned when you were like thinking about it.
Yeah, because you and I were really corresponding well, and that was essentially a very initial experience of, wow, here's a person that I'm chatting with, and I truly respect their views on life, and it feels like they are coming from a more advanced way of viewing things that I'm only just getting started at. And it was like, it was very, how should I say, mind-opening and also heart-opening too. However, with all of these great things, feelings, and thoughts, I was still nervous because it was just new for me. Mm-hmm. And I was still really like young in my heart and kind of closed in my heart just for the time of where I was at in my life. And this was the first time, basically, where I was just like going to meet a stranger, essentially, or even like reaching out and being open in an honest way online and things like that.
Yeah. So would you say that you made the decision and then you were planning on coming? Did you experience any kind of resistance as you were like getting ready to make that drive to come see us?
So I was really excited because I remember that my time during that was really open, so I didn't really have to plan much or have too much pressure. However, I also was very much a not make spontaneous decisions person. I was already very much I need to have stuff close to my normal or it feels like I don't want it, or it feels like it's not helping me because now I'm uncomfortable and I'm easily frustrated and things like that. So I was definitely, the choice I made took me into uncomfort, and the choice I was making definitely took me into not knowing the result. Like I didn't know what would happen, and I didn't know that it would be quote unquote successful or a positive outcome. Even though it felt that way, my feelings from who I was changing out of, like the chrysalis I was coming out of, those feelings were still there. And with my eyes looking forward, not looking backward at the shell I was coming out of, even though I was feeling things of resistance, I was still able to continue to honor like what I was seeing ahead of me, or what I was attempting to bring into where I was going. So
you had like, you felt a little bit of uncomfort, like this was an uncomfortable thing for you to do because you weren't used to it, but you still felt it was the right thing to do. Would you say that like the feelings of it being like it was the right decision outweighed any kind of uncomfort for you?
Yeah, 100%. And where I was coming from is I was kind of like, I've been saying no for so long. I owe it to myself and my future to find out what it would be like to say yes. And what is also interesting is when I had arrived and got there with you guys, I think I stayed for like a weekend or something. Do you remember?
I don't remember, to be honest.
So let's just say it was a weekend, so like 3 or 4 days. And I was still uncomfortable and frustrated at times because of not being in my normal routine, not having access to my normal privileges that I took for granted. So you can see here how I'm talking about this. I was definitely coming from a place of like not much self-awareness, where I was more my habits and potentially my items and possessions rather than myself. So I think that so in this instance, hoisting up the decision of choosing yes, I think we can really relieve ourselves and alleviate stressors and lack of awareness by saying yes, even though it's going to feel not the greatest. Like the choosing yes may not make life easier. However, it could make life massively more enjoyable and experiential.
Mm-hmm. I like that. So I think when you're saying that, like, you didn't have your regular comforts, that's kind of, in a way, people have those comforts, but it's like, if that's the worst thing, then, it's not so bad, because there are a lot of people who don't even have comforts. But I mean, it's like, I think there are like little clues that you can pick up to help you guide yourself to make a decision based on love. So like, you had resistance, you had thoughts of and feelings maybe of like, I don't have like my normal bed, or I don't have my normal shower, and I'm like a little frustrated about it. But those are little things compared to like what your heart can guide you to. So I think you had guidance, and
even like judgments of you,
mm-hmm.
like even judgments of like who this person actually is and what they stand for and all this stuff. Because like knowing someone online, you just got to accept that you don't know all of them just yet, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I guess caution was also there inside of the decision of choosing yes.
Mm-hmm. But you didn't let little uncomforts stop you from making a decision that you felt maybe in your heart was the right one?
Yeah. Like, in all honesty, like, I truly felt aligned in doing all of that, and like, this is all a metaphor as well to step into these things. I truly felt aligned to go into all of these potential things that I was feeling and thinking, to assist myself out of the habit of saying no. And sometimes, just like in that movie, we find that Jim Carrey just had the habit of saying no. Mm-hmm. It doesn't even matter why.
Right. Like, if you're going to make a decision, like, take a moment to think about it. And that's in the meditation that I'll play at the end. It like gives you a second to like, to see how you feel. How do these decisions make you feel? And not just like in your ego or in your mind, like, I'm so uncomfortable, or like, I'm not in my shell, or in my like home where I'm like super comfy. And honestly, like, changing your life, you got to get a little uncomfortable if you want change. Change is uncomfortable sometimes, but you can't let that stop you from making a decision that you may know deep down in your heart is going to help you out in life.
Mm-hmm. And then now going to the other coin of maybe we're not saying yes to go into something new. Maybe we're saying no to something that's enticing or really gripping us at an emotional level. And learning to say no is so powerful, because this one little word can continue to grow or bring health, abundance, and happiness. Like, for instance, sometimes when we say yes to something that we don't want, or that we don't want to do, we may end up like really having a poor experience or hating what we're doing. We may feel and create some resentment toward the person who offered or the people involved. And we may potentially hurt ourselves, or like get our psychology mixed up, where any number of traumas could come up based off of our decision that we made without checking in with ourselves first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's okay. I think first off, like, don't beat yourself up for that. We all deal with it, so it's okay. But the more you can like tune into it, and the more you can make decisions based on love, then the more you can like overcome that. For example, like Shannon and I, when we first got together, anytime we were invited to do a workshop or anything really for a festival or an event, we said yes, like without really honestly even thinking about it. So we were like, whatever opportunity that came to us, we were jumping on it. And we did that for a few years. And this year we decided we're not going to do that anymore. We're just going to do the festivals that feel good. And it's been a really awesome decision, because I've had more time and energy to work on things for myself, like the meditations every week, or working on new music, or like I've been able to do a lot of things this year that I wouldn't have been able to do any other year, because we were we just had so many events that we had to do, and it's a lot of energy to travel, to like set up stuff, to do an event, to host a workshop, to do all those things. Like, and this year we cut out at least like 5 or 6 big major events that have bogged us down for years. So this year has been really, really amazing. We've learned the power of no, and it's okay to say no, especially if your heart is like telling you that, you know, it may not be a good decision. So that's why I think we're doing this episode, to help people understand, you know, that it's okay, for one, to say no, and two, to like check in with your feelings, because your feelings, your heart, it will tell you like what feels right and what doesn't feel right.
That's so true. And I'm happy and glad for you guys that you've been able to reach a place amongst each other to make that decision, and sometimes producing pardon me, sometimes being involved with things and being active or having a lot of things to do isn't necessarily the most valuable thing. Because like you were saying, it was feeling a little stressful and things like that. And now that these bigger events aren't happening that you haven't chosen, you're almost feeling like more valuable and free to go another way. So maybe even how you were choosing wasn't wrong. It's just now time to do it this way. And things like this really take courage. And maybe when we choose things, we're trying to find the best result or the most efficient result or whatever. And sometimes we just have to make a decision for ourselves and what we want. And generally that does take courage. And we do, all of us have the ability to be courageous. And what a powerful thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Like we have a lot more energy this year to do other things. Like I said, I've been making meditations every week this is the 26th week now, and if we were doing if we were doing all the same things as we were last year, I don't know if I'd be able to manage it, because it takes time and energy to do those kinds of things. And I was making a decision based on caring for myself, because this year is like self-care year where we're like learning how to love and take care of ourselves.
That's really funny.
You experiencing similar things?
Man, I could not even put to words what 2019 feels like. I feel so, I don't know. I feel like I'm waking up again out of the place I woke up into. And I feel that years ago, when I first started to have make the choices to question things and being like, hey, what's really going on? Hey, what do I really feel? Or what does this really mean? As opposed to taking things for face value or not even using critical thinking and things like that. I feel that started kind of a cycle, and it moved me from one place to another, or from one form into another. And I feel that so far in 2019, I feel that 2018 prepared me for 2019 so far anyways. But I feel like that same process is happening, and it's leading toward or supporting clarity and honesty, as opposed to like confidence and self-worth or freedom. I'm not really sure if I'm saying this right, but I feel a lot more courageous and able to make honest and clear decisions instead of trying to be the most efficient or to micromanage things so I don't have to pick up the pieces later, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. It's like kind of like a cycle where I think around between 2010 and 2012, a lot of people woke up or like changed their life. And then like we had a life-changing experience for a few years. And then for me, at least, it kind of got like really hard. And now it's like, it's getting back to that point where it's like when we woke up, we just felt super good, like really high vibe, like really on point with our missions and whatnot. So I think it's like we're changing octaves, like we're going up an octave now.
Yeah. Like 2015 was a great year for a lot of us, and a lot of us felt at a higher place and like a new place. And I feel like 2019 is shaping up to really surprise us in very similar ways of what is showing us already what is within. So far I feel that a lot of us are finding ourselves in situations where we didn't know that we were capable of that. whether it be good or bad things. And through that new sight and firsthand experience, we get the opportunity to call upon the power of courage, call upon the power of integrity, communication, and discipline to really get a foothold in these newer foundations, or building on top of already laid foundations to really support higher things like love and peace and equality, wholeness and balance, and respect.
Yes, I love that. So the foundations that we've built that have been like healthy and really like where what we need them to be, like those are building up, and the things that are no longer serving us, any old cycles, any old patterns, any of those old things are breaking down more and more. So I think that's cool. I'm thinking about these memes that people made. You said 2015, but I'm thinking of 2016. They were so funny. They were like, I don't know if you saw them, but they were memes of people posting like me before 2016 and me after 2016. And it would be like me before, a picture of like Luke Skywalker when he was young, and then me after 2016, and he was like whatever that guy is, who's like the Emperor or Darth Vader's boss or whatever, who's like really wrinkly and really like
Sidious.
Yeah, so just like
okay, I tried my best and now I'm like totally cynical.
Right.
On the dark side.
Yeah, just people like feeling really good before 2016 because 2015 was like a great year, and then at the end of 2016 everybody's like messed up, like looking really old and weathered, and it's just because like we went through so much in 2016. But I think 2019 has been a great year.
Yeah.
2020 is gonna be crazy.
So I'm not doing much research, and I have nothing to validate what I'm about to say.
Go for
Disclaimer. I'm like, what I'm about to say is based off of nothing whatsoever.
Intuition.
It just seems like it's we're being led into somewhat of a reset. And to put it into perspective, imagine like you had a pretty stressful day where you never really got much time for yourself, but then you get home at a nice enough time where you're able to shower, have some tea, and meditate and really clear yourself. I feel that this 2012 and beyond is going to be a theme of that like cleared evening. Not really indicating relaxation or calmness, because like we were chatting about earlier, sometimes like a true yes or no could potentially lead to a bunch of challenging circumstances in relation to where we had just previously come from. So it could be intense, but the point I'm trying to bring across is like a clear foundation, a cleared conscience, a person of integrity and courage who at the very least knows that they can, as long as they keep trying. And failure isn't really a thing, because failure means I tried something and now I'm not going to try anymore. And anyone who's doing something that they want to do and they're truly invested, no matter how low and defeated they get, once they're like kind of got a little energy going, they're right back at it. Back at it.
I have a funny story that kind of fits with this. I recently had to update my computer, or basically reinstall like a whole operating system. And for a whole long month, I would try for the day, and it would take me like 5 to 6 hours working on it, and then a block would come up, and I would have to research like how to clear that block, and I would, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, like I cleared it finally, and then another block would come up. And then I would have to research again, like learn what to do, go back, clear that block. And it took me like a month of doing this, like clearing blockages, coming up to another block, clearing that, another one comes up, like forever, like the whole long month. And then like I just made the decision, like I'm gonna keep going, like until I finally get this, or like it quits, or like something happens, I'm gonna keep going. So it was a lot of work and super frustrating, but I kept going, and eventually like I figured it out. I re-uploaded and reinstalled the operating system, and now it's like a new computer. Like it's much faster. There's not as much like files bogging it down, making it slower. So it's kind of like fits in with what you're saying, is like we're clearing all the old, we're like installing a new operating system, and we're going to be better, more efficient, and we're going to be better than we were.
Wow, beautiful. And that was your experience. You weren't even using a metaphor or an analogy. That was actually what happened. And sometimes it feels like that slow crawl where we go and we have an issue with our computer, and it's like, okay, this is going to be fixed in 5 minutes. And it ends up taking much longer than that. And if we maintained the belief that it shouldn't take this long, eventually we're going to become frustrated and just completely not interested to do it. But the mindset that you were embodying is something that can take us through any blockage whatsoever. And sometimes blockages are showing us where to stop going also. So it's not necessarily that blockages come up to be passed or fixed or anything. Sometimes it's like, hey, don't actually go down this road. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, just like, nice. That's really cool.
Detour.
What a great feeling to have a computer that works well, too.
I know, it's so, because I use my laptop downstairs to record sometimes when like Shannon is upstairs, and I have a mixer that like cuts out all the noise, and I wasn't able to use that for the month, and it was like, it's interesting when you have something for so long and then all of a sudden you don't have it, and you have to like learn what to do without it.
Yeah.
So it was a process, but I did it, and I'm like, it's crazy because of how long it took and how many blockages that I had to clear. Once I did it, I felt freaking amazing. I felt so good. I had like one of the best days ever after I finally got that computer working again.
I just want to share this because I don't think our audience knows, but our friend here, Selomon, also has a nickname, and he is also called the Process Master. So for all your process mastery needs, Selomon at Project Bring Me to Life.
That's funny. I got a new nickname. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. This has been a great episode. I'm glad we got to talk about it, and I hope everybody's learned something from it. If you have, even if you haven't, please post in the comments and let us know if you have any questions or maybe what you learned today, because we would love to hear from you. But if not, we're just super grateful that you tuned in. Did you have anything else that you had to say before we ended the episode with the meditation today?
I would love to share, if we have 1 or 2 minutes, I'd love to share, I guess you could call this poetry. But I just kind of wrote a thing down, and I'd like to share it.
Yay.
Okay. Expand the mental and manifest in the physical. From knowledge to and born, reveal to me what I don't see. Let your mind be free, explore with me. To a high degree, and in the moment, just be. Let's unravel ancient scrolls, recite mantras in meditation, in between turning pages of wisdom, express back enlightened ages. Let's get cosmic and tantric, mentally romantic, showing each other without judgment, proof that we don't know it all while striving to accumulate facts and activate upon held knowledge. Peace.
Beautiful. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm gonna mark the time down when you said that.
Right on.
Cool. I love that. That was a great poem and awesome. That was good. So that was written by you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Original poem by Nick Mielnicki.
OG.
OG. Orange juice.
OG.
That's OG. Orange goose. Sweet. Well, I appreciate having this conversation. This was awesome.
I had a blast, man. I really appreciate everyone who is tuning in, listening to this. Appreciate you, my friend, my old friend, Selomon, friend forever. And thank you for sharing this with me. What a powerful topic of the power of choice and learning to say no.
Definitely. I hope everybody here enjoyed this episode. Tune in again next week. Let's see what our topic is. Should be about spending more time in nature, so.
Yeah, it's going to be a new month, huh? A whole new overarching topic, and then the underlying ones.
Looks like July, unless if Shannon changes it before next week, is connecting, just being in nature, like connecting more with nature, which I think is a great topic because, nature is very important.
Absolutely essential. Absolutely essential.
Definitely essential. So this is an essential week next week, so make sure you tune in for this. Thanks again. Essential. So if you can share this episode with all your friends, that would be a great help. Otherwise, just have a great day and enjoy this meditation. I'm gonna sign out now and say thank you all and see you all later.
Namaste.
I want to believe that all humans are good and true in their hearts, but the truth is that some people will take advantage of your compassion, of your kindness. So it's important to learn when to say no and establish healthy boundaries for your own health, as well as those around you. Take a moment to meditate on if there has ever been a time when you said yes or agreed to something that you didn't want to do, and it turned out to be a bad choice. Now go through that moment again and imagine what it would have been like if you said no. How does it make you feel to say no and avoid that bad choice? The more you do this practice, the more you will notice when the time to say no is. Anytime you hesitate to make a choice to say yes or agree to something, tune in with your feelings. Where are they guiding you? You have the freedom of choice in this world. Make a commitment now to use it wisely. Now finish up your meditation and return to your physical senses. Breathe in as deep as you can, and exhale all the air out of your lungs. And you can open your eyes. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you so much. Check back here every Monday for a new meditation guided by me, Selomon. Have a great rest of your day, and namaste.
Thanks for shining on with us.